It's a Dota Weekly Show!
Yay!
Hey guys, welcome to the Dota Weekly Show, a show that tells you exactly what's been happening in the Dota universe for the past week. I'm Luminous, your host for the show, and let's get right into the news. First big piece of news that CCM versus LGD in the ECL final was taken by CCM, rather in a stomping fashion, which comes in a surprise because LGD was just stomping everyone 2 weeks ago in the Stars Wars 6 final. So I don't know what the hell is happening there, but the replays aren't out. But you could be sure that when the replays do come out, DotaCommentary.com will be casting all of them. So let's move beyond that because just no replay to show. No replay didn't happen. Alright, second big piece of news is that in the eSport Universe final, OSI versus M5 was surprisingly taken by OSI. OSI, the Russian underdog here, beating out the master of LAN, kind of what M5 is known for, ponying at LAN. They actually beat M5 in a best of 3 series. Now, even though I just spoiled the result, I still recommend you to check out Game 2, casted by Nebula on DotaCommentary.com, or Game 3, casted by myself here. Because the hero choices were just absolutely interesting, the strategy was just brilliant. I just recommend checking out, even knowing the result. It's just that good. The games were just that good. Now, of course, if you want to read more about the news I talked about today, or just news in general, go over to sggamer.com or gg.net to read more about Dota news and whatnot. The mechanics of this week is something very interesting. It's called Trigger Heals. What that basically means is that it's a spell, it's an effect of a spell that allows you to take the damage and then heal it back. So a couple of good example of Trigger Heal is Nanaya's Refraction, where you turn on the Refraction, you take the hits, and even though the hits should damage you, it doesn't do any damage. In reality, you do take the damage, but it heals you back immediately. A couple other example of Trigger Heal is the Voice Backtrack or Bristleback's Bristleback spell. You can see that different spells have different trigger healing abilities. For example, Bristleback is based on a percentage, whereas Voice Backtrack is based on a chance to proc. But for the most part, the mechanic is the same. Now, it's very, very important to stress that you do take the damage, but you heal it back. It's very, very important, again, to remember, you do in fact take the damage. You don't lose any HP because they heal it back. Now, why do I stress on this? Because there's some very interesting item correlation with trigger heals. For example, let's look at Blade Mail on Templar Assassin. You turn on the Refraction, you turn on the Blade Mail, and you get hit. You might be thinking, hey, since I'm not losing any HP, I shouldn't reflect any damage back. Again, like what I stressed out earlier, you are taking the damage. It's just that the trigger heal ability of the Refraction heals you back. So in essence, if you have Refraction on and Blade Mail on, you will reflect everything you take, but you don't lose any HP. I think that's pretty cool. The second thing is, let's say we're going to be the enemy hero this time. We are a hero with lifesteal, and we're attacking a Templar Assassin with Refraction turned on. Again, the other side of the story, you might be thinking, hey, you know what, I'm not doing any damage to the Templar Assassin. You are in fact doing damage. She's just not losing any HP because of trigger heal. Since you are doing the damage, you will lifesteal even though she's not losing any HP. It's a little bit of a mind trip, but that's kind of how it works. Now, speaking of lifesteal with trigger heal, there's a very interesting hero, Windrunner, and then if you look at her ultimate ability, Focus Fire, that is also based on a trigger heal ability. Instead of giving yourself a trigger heal, you give the opponent a trigger heal. So, when you cast Focus Fire on an enemy hero, you in fact do full damage on every single hit, but the trigger heal ability heals the enemy hero back a little bit. That's why you do reduce damage with Focus Fire. So in essence, if you get lifesteal on Windrunner and you do Focus Fire, you lifesteal on the full damage, but the enemy hero takes like half damage or whatever percent amount of damage. So I hope that what I said makes sense. Just to summarize what I got so far, Trigger Heal is an ability that kind of makes you not lose any HP. You do take the damage, but you heal it back. And it has very interesting interactions with Blade Mail and lifesteal and whatnot. Now, if you thought that was interesting, here's something that's even more interesting. What I was just talking about right now is using one trigger heal ability. Now, if you stack multiple trigger heal ability, something crazy happens. Let's look at 2 trigger heal ability here. We have Templar Assassin's Refraction, and then we'll look at Lord of Vernus Aphotic Shield, is that what's called. If you stack the 2 trigger heal ability onto one single hero, whatever incoming damage is done to you, instead of taking damage, of course you don't take any damage because trigger heal, heal it back. Instead of losing HP, you will actually gain HP. Let's look at how it works, right? So the first trigger heal ability, Refraction, blocks the damage and then heal you back to whatever, amount that you were previously are. The Aphotic Shield will do the exact same thing. It will block the damage and then heal you back to whatever you were previously are. But since you have 2 of them, the healing double. So let's say you have refraction on you, and then you have a Photic Shield on you, and you eat a Finger of Death. Instead of losing whatever damage in terms of HP, you actually gain that HP. It's actually quite ridiculous. On the bottom in the description box, there's a link to a guide on Trigger Heal, and in the guide there's a huge list of heroes with Trigger Heal abilities. Actually, in the in-house, I made a team with like Trigger Heal base, and it was pretty cool. Like you have hero that's taking the damage, but instead of losing HP, you're gaining HP. It's actually pretty ridiculous. Final thing, I want to stress that one more time. For Trigger Heal, you are still taking the damage, but instead of losing HP, you stay at the same HP level. So that's it about the mechanics for this week, and let's move on to the Lumi So Fun Challenge. If you weren't here last week, the Lumi Challenge was to jungle for 20 minutes and farm over 9k gold. And it seems like the only hero that could actually do it was Lycanthrope. Lycanthrope, as we all know, is an insane jungler. Not only does he kill stuff fast, he also could use his wolf, would also kill stuff fast. So I haven't actually got a submission that is not a Lycanthrope submission that broke the record. Now I have casted a game with the Lycanthrope jungling, so you could check that one out. It's very interesting to say the least. In the actual commentary itself, I'll talk more about it. But that's it for the challenge. Now for next week's Lumi challenge, we're gonna do something interesting. Now usually in Lumi challenges, I kind of want you to learn something from it. But the next one, I'm not too sure what you could learn from it. Here's the challenge. The only heroes you could use is agility melee heroes. And with agility melee heroes, this is a team challenge, so all 4 or 5 of you guys should have agility melee heroes. With agility melee heroes, you have to win the game in 25 minutes. Now, winning the game is quite obscure, especially in pubs. People generally leave before winning the game. So let's make it simple. You have to take 1 lane of a Rax, that's melee and range Rax, and you also have to take Roshan once. I mean, Roshan's kind of not necessary, but I kind of want to throw it in there in terms of how do you have 5 melee agility heroes win the game in 25 minutes? I'm not asking you to pick PA and farm it up. You gotta win in 25 minutes, or take 1 lanes of Rax, and also kill Roshan once. I'm not too sure what you'll learn from it, but I reckon it will be quite interesting to play out with a couple of friends and picking anti-mage and PAs and try to win in early game. So let's leave it at that. The challenge could be a little bit challenging. We'll have to see. And I think that's pretty much it for this week's Dota Weekly Show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And until next time, as always, this is Luminous signing off. GG guys.